In the wake of today's shooting down in Minneapolis, we are joined again by safety and security expert Timothy Dimoff. Tim, appreciates you joining us. Wish it was certainly under better circumstances. With your decades of law enforcement experience and crisis response experience, what are maybe some of the top early warning signs that someone, including the individual we saw in today's case, may be on a path towards using such horrific violence?
Well, what we saw through the history of active shooters and over 20 years of research, people that are going to commit these kind of crimes of high-level aggression, they, in almost all cases, express their frustration to others. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be neighbors, it could be co-workers, it could be anybody. But we know that they express frustration and aggravation in their life. So they also can talk about life and suicide and the value or decreased value of their life. So once again, it's a rarity that it's not discussed or you know, they don't engage somebody with some sort of discussion on this.
And what happened today, obviously going to leave a horrific toll on those students and the families down there in Minneapolis. How does an event like this one or others similar to it affect law enforcement officers and the people who have to respond to these situations, that is, and witness these events?
Well, I tell you, you know, I spent 20 years in law enforcement, and there's no worse situation to come upon than some type of high-level aggression that involves violence and it involves death. And then on top of that, if it involves children, it's even worse for the responders, police, paramedics, and all adults that are around this, because it just sinks in so deep psychologically and physically. It's something that's very hard to comprehend and deal with during it, and then after it, and then days, weeks, and months after it, it kind of comes back to you and haunts you. So it's very, very strenuous and psychologically big effect on individuals in the safety forces that respond.
Timothy Dimoff. Tim, appreciate you being here again and for your insight and for sharing that with our viewers again here on First Alert at 4.
Thank you, and God bless the families of the victims.